Imagine being silenced forever, only to defy death with clues left behind. In today's episode, we dive into some of the most haunting and incredible cases where victims left behind clues, suspicions, or even direct accusations that helped solve their own murder. From chilling diary entries and hidden messages to foresight that now feels prophetic, these individuals left behind breadcrumbs that led investigators to justice, sometimes years later. This is not just a story about murder. It's a story of resilience, whispers from the grave, and voices that refuse to stay silent. Because sometimes the hero of the story isn't the detective, it's the victim. In June 2021, 22-year-old Paul Murdaugh and his mother Maggie were found shot to death near the dog kennels of their South Carolina estate. The killer? Paul's own father, Alex Murdaugh, a once powerful attorney whose empire was crumbling under financial fraud and scandal. But Paul left behind a digital witness. A Snapchat video taken moments before his death captured Alex's voice at the scene, contradicting his alibi.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth!
Bubba. Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
That clip became the linchpin in a trial that exposed a web of lies, addiction, and greed. Alex was convicted in 2023 and sentenced to life in prison. In 2005, 18-year-old Simon Ung was a quiet college student in Queens, New York. He kept a blog to document his struggles and self-improvement. But on May 12th, his final post became a digital scream for help. Simon wrote that his sister's ex-boyfriend had entered their apartment uninvited and was acting erratically.
Today I missed my Japanese class again, since I have gotten a bad throat. I only went to the class once this week, so I am probably so far behind now. I will catch up in the summer though, so no worries, hey hey. Anyway, today has been weird. At 3, some guy rang the bell. I went down and recognized it was my sister's former boyfriend. He told me he wants to get his fishing poles back. I told him to wait downstairs while I get them for him. While I was searching them, he is already in the house. He is still here right now, smoking, walking all around the house with his shoes on, which by the way I just washed the floor 2 days ago. Hopefully he will leave soon. Oh yeah, working on the JAP report as we speak.
Hours later, Simon and his sister Sharon were found brutally stabbed. Simon died at the apartment while his sister Sharon died about an hour later in a hospital. Police used Simon's blog to identify the killer, Jin Lin, who confessed and was sentenced to life without parole. Simon's blog didn't just tell his story, it solved his murder. In 2003, London businessman Amarjit Chohan vanished along with his wife, 2 young sons, and mother-in-law. At first, it looked like a family fleeing financial trouble, but Amarjit had been forced to sign over his freight company to Kenneth Regan, a convicted drug dealer. Regan buried the bodies on a remote farm, then dumped them in the English Channel, thinking that all the evidence leading back to them had been destroyed. But Amarjit had hidden a letter in his sock, possibly suspecting that he and his family would be murdered eventually. The note was addressed to Regan. That scrap of paper, soaked in seawater, became the clue that cracked the case. Regan and his accomplices were convicted of 5 murders and sentenced to life. In 1988, high school coach Russ Stager was shot in the head while sleeping. His wife Barbara claimed it was an accident. He kept a gun under his pillow, she said. But Russ had confided in his ex-wife, Jo Lynn, that he feared Barbara might kill him. He even recorded a cassette tape days before his death, detailing his wife's indiscretions and financial fraud, as well as questioning why Barbara woke him up to give him sleeping pills.
Now, if I were already asleep at 4:30 in the morning, why would somebody wake me up to give me 2 sleeping pills?
That tape, along with evidence of financial fraud and a suspiciously similar death of Barbara's first husband, led to her conviction. She was sentenced to life in prison. Julie Jensen knew she was going to die. She and her husband had been having marital problems for a while, and at some point she found her husband's shopping list, which included syringes and suspicious drugs. She also discovered that he had visited websites about poisoning. So, a few days before Thanksgiving 1998, she wrote a letter to police, telling them that if anything happened to her, her husband Mark should be the first suspect. She gave the letter to a neighbor, telling them to give it to the police if need be. Days later, Julie was dead, poisoned with antifreeze. Her letter became the centerpiece of a legal battle that lasted decades. Mark was convicted in 2008, retried in 2023, and found guilty again. Even without the letter, he was sentenced to life without parole. In each of these cases, the victim left behind a whisper, a clue, a warning, a digital trace. And in each case, that whisper became a roar in the courtroom. Do you know of other cases where the clues came from beyond the grave? Let us know in the comments. If you found these stories haunting, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more true crime stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.